Hello everybody, it's FFX for the weekly update. First of all, got a haircut and a shave. Because sometimes, in order to make yourself feel different, you gotta look different. So, I was overdue for a haircut over there. Yeah, gone are the days with my long flowing hair. It's now all short in the back and just only long over here to hide my baldness. But, I haven't been clean shaven in a while, so decided to go for it. This past week was interesting. We started the finale to Final Fantasy X HD. Tomorrow's episode, Monday's episode, is going to be the final story episode, part 2 of the finale, where we take on Yu Yevon. So that's going to be a trip. And then starting from that point, it's just going to be bonus videos, which means I got to work really hard now. If I can't get 3 bonus videos out a week, because some of these videos are going to take a while, especially like the monster catching and stuff, which I might just do afternoon streams for. Just playing them if you just want to hang out or something. So if those take a while, then I'll either replace it with more Twilight Princess videos, or more likely option will be Tales of Vesperia VODs, or the Fiesta, the 4-job Fiesta, which finished up a couple weeks ago. One sec. Yeah, that's that. We had a Nintendo Direct last week, so I wrote down all the stuff for it. Thank you, Watch. Let's see. Link's Awakening. Twilight Princess is going good. We are in the Gerudo Desert now. And I'm really excited for the Arbiter's Grounds, because it's a really cool place, even if the item there has mixed reviews. I love everything in that game so much. So can't wait for you guys to see me probably fail at the boss there. Not Bruce Springsteen, the actual boss. Let's see. I'm just going to go through. Okay, so there is art, which I'll show before we talk about the Nintendo Direct. But I started this thing this month, Sketchtember, which is a sketch a day based on prompts. It's like Inktober, which I've done the past couple years. I'm just not going to have time for Inktober this year because it's going to be all of the Jewish holidays starting like the very end of September. So I'm just not going to put myself through that stress. Let's see. I tried out Astral Chain, and it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it a lot. I did the first impressions, and I got so many people this time on the cartridge first impressions that are just like, what the heck? What does he do? Why? I love it. I love it so much. Let's see. We showed our house, which was really fun. I had to reattach the graphics card to my PC because my Vita fell on the case for my PC and somehow dislodged it. So that was cool. It was interesting. I finished up Patreon stuff from last month, which I'll show that too. We have prints over here you can kind of see. Let's see. Me talking about videos. Nintendo Direct exists. Magfest. Magfest tickets are going on sale on Tuesday, the 10th. So that's going to be fun. And hotels are going live next week, the 19th. Also Thursday. Next week on Thursday are the hotels. So if you're going to Magfest, keep that in mind. They're doing the randomized thing again, which I'm just prepare to be angry at it, because we're all going to be angry, and they're going to give all of the good hotels in the Gaylord National to the influencers again this year. So we'll all have to go to like the Westin or something. So just get prepared. Just get prepared to not do that. unless you're super mega RNG luck. But as long as I get a hotel in the area, the Westin, which I was at last year and I was at 3 years ago, I love it. It's a great hotel. It's a very short walk. It's right next to a lot of stuff, so I'm okay with that. It's nice to be in the hotel, but I don't know, as long as it's not like a blizzard or something. Anyway, so yeah, MagFest tickets this week, hotels next week. You can only get on the list of hotels if you buy a ticket like this week, so do that. Let's see. More Sketchtember things. I just go along my Twitter feed because I really can't remember like what I've done. I posted pictures before I shaved of just like keeping like mutton chops and like a goatee type of thing. I looked like a biker. It was great. Posted lots of puppy pictures. If you want to see cute puppies, you better go to my Twitter feed. That's all my videos are for. It's not to promote my own YouTube channel. It's to promote my Twitter feed, apparently. We'll talk about more stuff there, more art from the Direct. There's actually 2 Directs. There was a Nintendo Direct and then there was a Sakurai Direct, which was really cool. I love his like informal presentations. Right, Nintendo announced that they're talking about this week some sort of new peripheral, which seems to be a ring that you put the Joy-Cons in, it can flex or move around or something. It seems to be this generation's Wii Fit thing. So that proves to be interesting and fodder for the video game pundits. Let's see. Oh man, we got stuff to talk about. More art. Okay, cool. Anything else interesting happen in my life? No. Cool. I also read the book Brave New World yesterday. It's interesting. It's like a dystopian novel because, my little brother has to read 1984 and Brave New World for his school, so I figure while he has the book, I may as well just read it. Because that's just how things work in Dovey House. If we have the book, I may as well read it. And it's interesting. It's a whole bunch of people who are all clones. They got rid of, it's essentially the future where eugenics is like the law. Nobody has their own babies anymore, except for the savages in their little savage lands, like the Indians and Christians and stuff that stay in like these little caged off areas where they're allowed to do whatever the heck they want. So everyone is like, test tube babies, cloned from each other, separated into castes and modified for better or for worse, depending on their caste, and then given subliminal messaging throughout their entire life so that they stay in their lane. And the story revolves around this one guy who's kind of fed up with the things around him, that goes visits the savage land and finds a guy who was born from a woman from regular society that got lost there, and she was pregnant somehow, even though most people are like supposed to be sterile. But she got pregnant, she had the kid in the savage land, and the kid grew up with like the works of Shakespeare instead of the works of Ford. That's like the new god is Henry Ford. This is like several hundred years later. So he brings the savage back to society, and he's kind of like, the talk of the town, and then the savage like gets more disgusted with everything, and eventually the end of the book is just a giant philosophy talk between the savage and one of the controllers of the world who knows just what's going on, like understands that, they've essentially strangled society and innovation in order to make everybody happy. And they all have like this drug called Soma that keeps them happy whenever they get sad. So he's like, yeah, we strangled society in order to keep everybody happy. And I know I know we could have more cooler science or easier labor or whatever, but you know, nobody is upset. And he's like, yeah, but what about like art or like Shakespeare, which is, banned and nobody talks about, nobody knows what it is. Like, what about all these things? What about the Bible and all that stuff? He was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but well, you can really only appreciate that if there's like strife, and we don't want that, so can't have it. And the guy's like, well, that sucks. This sucks. I'm leaving. And I'm not going to go into the end of the book, but it doesn't end well. Surprise. So it's kind of like a book about, hey, A, eugenics is really nasty. B, like, you kind of have to have sadness in order to enjoy the good things. Like, without strife and like other stuff like that, if you just keep everything at a general stable, yeah, we'll all go on, but like, what's the point? The basic argument of the savage guy was like, what's the point in life? And he's like, well, the point is consumption. Society sustains itself and we all keep going. We haven't had a war in 500 years. And we've tried, this, and this, but it just doesn't work. And without the caste system, everybody who's an alpha, instead of like alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilons, the deltas and epsilons are all like bred morons. Like, without having the lower castes that are all happy with what they are, because we tell them that they are, then everyone just, destroys themselves. And, we tried having all the alphas on an island governing themselves, and it was civil war, and like 90% of them killed each other. So you can't have that. So therefore, we just quash everything. And it's just like, so it's a depressing book, because of course it is. It's a dystopian novel. I don't know if I would recommend it. It's definitely interesting at the end philosophically. The first like 30 pages are just describing the cloning process and like the conditioning process, and it's really tough to get through. But it's certainly interesting, but it's more or less just him saying, hey, Aldous Huxley, the author, saying like, hey, we can't all just stifle everything in the name of happiness, because then we lose our soul. So, something to think about. So that was the thing. Anyway, art. We had a bunch of stuff this week. So I had the excuse me. I had the. No, let me just go to that account. No, not that account. I had the Sketchtember stuff going on. And so, let's see, the first prompt was female superhero. So I chose Uraraka from My Hero Academia. So there's that. And these are all just going to be sketches, not like super amazing work. Day 2 is cat. So I drew Bagel. Is Bagel the cat? Look at that kitty cat. Day 3 was spaceship. So I drew the swordfish from Cowboy Bebop. Day 4 was Chibi. So for that one, I drew Chibi Misei, her Chibi character. Day 5 was eyes. So I went a bit crazy with that, and we actually did a stream on Thursday. I highlighted it if you want to watch it. It's just me singing and drawing a lot. But the eyes was Danganronpa eyes. All the characters from Danganronpa 1. Come on. All the spoiler-free characters anyway. So yeah. I really like how it came out. I think, aside from like Sayaka and Aoi is this one, Sayaka is this set of eyes. Everyone is pretty distinctive with like who they are, starting from up over here and just going down across. Sakura, Hiro, Hifumi, Toko. Next row is this row is Junko, Aoi, Makoto, Negi. This row is Leon, Sayaka, Taka, and Kyoko. And the final row is Celeste, Byakuya, Chihiro, and Mondo. So I think that came out pretty well. I enjoyed. It was a good stream. I had a lot of fun. Also, I did a just based off of a real person picture. I wanted to just do practice on like facial drawing, and the arms are terrible, but I think the general picture was good. This was done on Friday. I want to say this was. Yeah, this was done on Friday. Okay. So it was just, I just wanted to get the face and body structure and everything. It was an interesting picture that I wanted to try to practice with. And what I also finished was, let me just get it up, was anything else aside from that? Alright. A Proton John picture of him as Terry Bogard, because we'll talk about that. Some Gem Father art. Your God tires of you. For Wonderful Wands. And yeah, finally, Maki Harukawa from Danganronpa V3. Yeah, I printed it out because it was the last Patreon drawing of the month, so I finally finished that. It was a little late, but I also printed out stuff, the other stuff from the month, Kibo, and a smaller Maki. But I like how this came out. It's kind of doesn't really want to focus, but come on, yeah, there we go. So I really like how the picture came out. Different textures and stuff. Actually got a hard time on it from somebody who was like, I was originally gonna call you out because it looks. I thought you were just posting the official art. I'm just like, that's not a good way to phrase it. You can say, wow, that looks really close to the original. But then they're like, yeah, like the leg looks weird and this, and I was like, I wasn't asking for criticism. If I want criticism on my art, I will ask for it, but it hurts for people to just give unsolicited art criticism, at least for me. Yeah, from the beginning of the month, it was my older brother. The Precipice Zack picture kind of gets cut off when I do a 6x4 print, but this one I'm hanging up. This cutie Bernie, and the birthday picture I did for Mom and Ella. And I also made a larger print of Kibo because I really like how this came out. Yeah, so that was cool. So sometimes I just think like people either think my art isn't good because I try to mimic the original art, or people think that I cheat or something with that. But like the reality is, I don't really have my own creativity to like make new things. Like that's the best I can do. Like this, the face here, this was actual, like the face of Bernie there, that was original. But like the body shape with the hands, that's Chihiro from Danganronpa. So like, I can't like make my own poses, so it's gonna have to look like something. And if I'm making it look like that anyway, I may as well try to mimic it, to try to learn the technique or whatever. But I still spend a lot of time on this stuff, and I mean, people get hired by these companies. Not that I think that I'm going to. Like, I don't see that as like a job in the future. But like, people get hired by, manga artists or video game makers or whatever, because they can do the art style, like, because they can help share the workload and, you know, not just do their own thing with the game. Like, they look for people who can do that. So, like, it's not a bad thing to be able to draw in a style of a game or a movie or a show or whatever, or manga. I feel like people don't think about that. Like, they don't see you having your look, you know, and then they say, well, you're just being derivative of whatever that is, and everybody's derivative. I don't know. It's rambling, I know, but like 99% of the stuff I've done here, I've done a lot of art. 99% of it is completely, like, you know, referenced, trying to reference one for one something. Maybe changing a little bit here or there, or just adapting to me not being able to, you know, mimic the whatever it is. But like, I don't know. I feel like people don't understand sometimes, like, how tough it is to be original with drawing. Anyway, that's my mini rant. I feel like that's a that people overlook my stuff because of that, and that's probably more of an ego thing. Like, people probably just don't see it, but I feel like it's like the two things my art generally doesn't have is lewd stuff and originality, and that's like the two things that you need to get anywhere. So I don't have that. But anyway, if you don't want to hear about the Nintendo Direct, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you do want to hear about the Direct, I took notes. So yeah, let's see, the Direct. First of all, Overwatch was announced for the Switch. It's coming out on the 15th of October. So yay, everyone, that was leaked beforehand. Luigi's Mansion 3, they talked about a little bit. I like that the thing was like, yeah, we're going to talk about Luigi's Mansion 3 and Smash Bros. And like 90% of the time was not. Like, they talked about Luigi's Mansion for like 1 minute. They're like, okay, Luigi's Mansion 3 is getting this thing called Scream Park, which is like 2 to 8 players and looks pretty fun. They also just showed some of the other features, and I'm excited for that game. It's pretty cool. The Trials of Mana remake, Seiken Densetsu 3, has like a class system and everything. It's coming out on the 24th of April. It's got voice acting and stuff. It's interesting. Still not going to play it. Super Kirby Clash, which is a free to start game, came out on the day of the Direct, which seems to be just like a Kirby boss rush or something. It's interesting. Like a multiplayer thing. Return of the Obra Dinn is coming out in the fall. It's an interesting looking indie game that I may or may not have on Steam, but want to play someday. Little Town Hero, which is that like town game that Game Freak announced a while ago. So that's coming out on October 16th, and Toby Fox is doing music for that, which is really cool. Banjo-Kazooie came out on the day of the 4th, so yay. They also announced Terry from the Fatal Fury series. That's coming out in November. He's going to be releasing in November. Terry Bogard, which is why I did the John art, because of course I did. And a lot of people got angry, and the other people were really happy, and the other people were like, who? But it was more or less leaked accidentally that an SNK character was coming to the game. I had a feeling it would be Terry, mostly because he's the only SNK character that I know. Which probably means he's the most well-known. But yeah, he's going to be fun. Are you okay? That's not worth. It's good. It's fun. So yeah, also they announced that, hey, I know we said that we're making 5 DLC fighters, but surprise, we're making more than that. So Smash Bros. Is just going to keep making DLC fighters until Sakurai drops dead from exhaustion, I guess. But it's cool. I mean, I guess that means that they want to keep adding to it. They also announced cool stuff later that we'll talk about, but there was like a Smash Direct afterward, like right afterward. Link's Awakening's come out this month. I'm really excited. Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch is on the 27th of this month. They announced that Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore, which is like, the Switch version of the Wii U game, is coming out in January, which is pretty exciting because that was a really good game. And I think that now that people are more into Fire Emblem and Persona than they were when it came out on Switch, it's going to get a lot more traction, especially since it's not than it came out on the Wii U. It's going to get a lot more traction than when it came out on the Wii U. That's what I'm trying to say. Deadly Premonition 2 was announced for 2020. Also, the first Deadly Premonition is out on Switch today, or on last week. So that's pretty cool. That game is a trip. Divinity Original Sin 2 is coming out, and I didn't write out what date. Doom 64 is coming out in November, so that's interesting. Rogue Company, whatever that is. I wasn't paying attention at that point. They talked about Pokemon. That's the other thing. It was Luigi's Mansion and Pokemon. They talked more about Pokemon. In the Pokemon game, there's customized clothes. You can customize the hair more, which is great. There's the Pokemon Camp, which is kind of like Pokemon-a-Me type of thing, which looks really fun. I call it Brock Simulator 2019 because you'll be able to like make food and feed the people and Pokemon around you, like make curry and stuff, which is pretty much all Brock did for most of the series, let's be honest. 2 new Pokemon. Polteageist, like TEA, it's a little teapot ghost, which is adorable, and Cramorant, which is a bird with a dopey face that shoots fish out of its mouth. Switch Online is getting SNES games, like finally, or got SNES games, finally. It's not going to be on a monthly thing, though, it's different. But, man, that took forever. Tetris 99 is got an update where there's like a super ranked mode. Also a packaged version, which with all the paid DLC like as part of it, which is kind of nuts because it's a free game. But the DLC is the paid DLC. Mario Sonic at the Olympics is looking very fun actually. They talked about Daemon X Machina. There's a demo that's out now. It's coming out soon, I think, like this month. Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is coming to Switch, so is Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed 4, and it's like a Rogue something or another Rogue collection. Assassin's Creed 4 and another one of them are like coming out, and it's going to be interesting. Dauntless, Ni no Kuni. Yeah, Ni no Kuni's coming out this month, and they had like a sizzle reel of other games or things. They talked about Animal Crossing New Horizons, and not much, but they just showed a little bit more, and like you'll be able to like make curved paths and things, like rounded edges on stuff. The flowers don't seem to like, you don't pick the whole flower, you just seem to pick the top, and it'll continue growing flowers from that point. So that's cool. The big surprise was Xenoblade HD. They're making an Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for the Switch in 2020, which I'm really excited for because like Xenoblade was one of the best video games I had ever played, and the 3DS version was fun, but I felt it was just constrained by the fact that it was on 3DS. You needed a new 3DS only to play it, and like it was really pushing stuff, but like letting the game, like it was amazing on the Wii, and playing that on the Switch, which is so much more powerful. Like, I can't even imagine how that's going to be. I can't wait. And that was it for the Direct. And then the Smash Direct, which is like one of those things where Sakurai just like kind of talks, and it's like the studio is just like laughing like at the jokes he's making and stuff. It's like very informal, and I love it. And he's happy. He's smiling. He plays the game himself using 2 controllers and 1 hand on each controller. And it's scary. But they announced that Home Run Contest was being put in. Hooray! Why they didn't do that from the beginning, I don't know, but Home Run Contest is amazing and I cannot wait to play it. Also, they're doing a whole bunch of costumes like Goemon and Team Rocket, and then like the big announcement that everyone's freaking out over, they put Sans in Smash as a Gunner costume. But it's like a Gunner costume with like, his gun hand thingy, and man, like he's like, yeah, Toby Fox went to my house once, and like that sounded really sketchy. It's like, yeah, we played Smash, and he actually beat me a few times. And so Toby Fox wrote a like a special version of Megalovania that came with the Sans costume. So Nintendo's just raking in that money from the memes. So I bought Sans because I wanted the costume and I wanted Megalovania in the game. But now the Smash Bros, Cloud, King K. Rool, Banjo Kazooie, Sans, Mario, Bayonetta, like Snake. What is this? I love it. And then they announced that they're making even more DLC characters. I can't wait to see like what other weird properties they add in. Joker's in the game. Like, man, we have to go through all of Sakurai's old tweets and conversations to see what he likes, because he talked about how much he loved Persona, and then Joker made it into the game. He talked about how much he loved Undertale, and he's like friends with Toby Fox, and then Sans got in the game. So there's got to be something else. Also, Sans not being his own fighter, but being like a Mii costume, fits so well with just the whole Undertale aesthetic, or the Sans aesthetic anyway. But yeah, man. It's great. I love it. But yeah, so that was a fun time. And yeah, this month, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We're getting Zelda. We're getting Ni no Kuni. We're getting. There's something else that's coming out on that day. Dang it, Toby. We're getting. Something else that's coming out on the 20th. It's an indie game. Can't remember. Something else is coming out on the 20th. But yeah, I'm excited. You better be excited too. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening to my rambling. And thank you for putting up with me. It's always appreciated. Yeah, this past week was weird. I didn't even go into like stuff with my family. I might have talked last week, before we end off, I might have talked last week about my dad. He's getting an angiogram of his heart. So we went into it thinking that we would, like, with the knowledge of, okay, and like, not if it's bad, but how bad is it? Like, you know, how bad are the blockages in his heart? Because we already saw 3 weeks ago that he had a whole load of blockages, so we wanted to see, like, get a better look of what that was. And they went in with the angiogram, with the camera, and the dye and everything. Nothing. Completely clear. So we're just like, where did they go in the past 3 weeks? So, yeah, it's craziness. So now we just have to live better. Exercise and diet. Speaking of that, I am down 5.5 pounds in the last 2 weeks. So yay. Yay for diet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being awesome. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.